Today's true story from the Bible comes from Luke chapter 10. As Jesus traveled, ministered, and taught, he used parables a lot. Parables were stories about earthly things listeners would relate to, but the stories had heavenly meaning about God's kingdom. One day, a lawyer came up to Jesus and asked him a question. "What should I do to have eternal life?" the lawyer asked. A lawyer in Jesus' time would have been highly educated and an expert on the Mosaic law, the laws God gave his people through Moses in the Old Testament. So Jesus asked the man, "Well, what does the law say?" The man answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus said, "That's correct." But then the man asked, "But who is my neighbor? Who am I supposed to love?" Here comes the parable. A man was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. The robbers stole everything he had and left him badly injured on the side of the road. Later, a priest walked by, saw the beaten man beside the road, and he crossed over to the other side. He ignored him. How rude. After that, a Levite passed by. Levites were assistants to priests. When the Levite saw the man, he did the same thing as the priest and passed by on the other side of the road. Unbelievable. Then a Samaritan, that's somebody from Samaria, passed by. Now the Jewish people despised the Samaritans. Out of all three people who passed by, the Samaritan would have been the least likely to offer help. But the Samaritan showed compassion. He cared for the injured man and bandaged his wounds. He brought the man to an inn to heal, paid for him to stay there, and even told the innkeeper he would pay for any additional care the man would need. Jesus asked the lawyer, "Which of these three was a neighbor to the man who was attacked by robbers?" The lawyer said, "The one who showed him mercy." And Jesus said to him, "Right you are. Go and do likewise." Through this parable, Jesus taught us we should care for all people, not just the ones who are like us or who we would typically get along with. Because Jesus cares for all people, we can too. When Jesus taught parables, he showed us what God and his kingdom are like. The story of the Good Samaritan surprised people who heard it. God's kingdom is different from how we often view things in our world. God sent his son to rescue people, even those who were his enemies. Jesus gave his all, even for those who don't deserve it. Jesus died on the cross for our sin and rose again so that all who choose to follow him can have eternal life.